What's up, guys? I'm on my roof of my apartment. I'll give you guys a little view real quick. This is downtown Milwaukee. That's the bridge. Um, I like to come up here just to think. And I feel like nowadays, if we're not doing anything, if we have nothing to do, we're just on our phone scrolling. Or me personally, I don't have a lot of hobbies. So sometimes I just come out here just to get away from social media and just clear my head sometimes. But I wanted to talk to you guys about me, life, what I think about on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, I'm not a happy person. Since really high school, since not being a kid, it's been hard for me to gain this consistent feeling of happiness. And it makes me feel bad. I feel bad because I feel like it affects the people around me a lot of times. It's weird because I feel like I know why I'm unhappy. I have anxiety. I have these thoughts that I could be using my time more wisely if I'm just relaxing. I could be productive right now, whatever that means. I don't know. A lot of times there isn't something I can do. It's just my brain is always wired to give me anxiety, so I take action, right? If I see a pretty girl, I get anxious because my body is telling me, go try to talk to her. And my brain producing that anxiety, that's like a mechanism to make me go out and try to do it. Try to go out and get that pretty girl, try and go out and get a job, try and go out and do something. That's why I have this constant feeling of anxiety, because I feel like my brain doesn't want me to be comfortable. And that's not a good feeling, right? And it's weird because I understand these emotions. I understand that this is who I am. I understand that the anxiety I'm feeling, that's not real. That's just my body's survival instinct to make me go do something. But even though I understand that, I still feel sad. I still feel anxious. And I feel like that's not right. That's not justice, right? I should be able to be happy just doing whatever. And I was in class the other day and my professor, he said something. He said there's 5 major emotions we feel as humans: sadness, anxiety, fear, anger, and happiness. So 4 out of the 5 emotions are bad emotions, if you think about it. Only 1 is happiness. And how I kind of deal with this is, we are all animals, right? We are all animals, and whether you're religious or not, we are. That's a fact. Okay? You look at a fish. A fish has a nose, eyes, whatever, mouth, limbs, right? And these emotions that we feel, they're all connected to survival in some way. Anxiety. Why do we feel anxious? It's a survival instinct. If you're not anxious in the wild, you're not gonna be on your toes. You're gonna get eaten by an animal, right? Fear. Why do we feel fear? It's a survival instinct. If you're not wary, scared every once in a while, similar to anxiety, you're gonna die. What is a bunny rabbit's? How do bunnies survive in the wild? They're scared of everything. They're scared of everything. They can't defend themselves. They see it, they run away. They're scared, and that's how they survive. They build tunnels and hide from predators and run away or whatever. Same with cats. I got a cat, or I did, at my parents' house. She's scared as shit. She's known us for going on 4 years now. She's still scared of us, and that's just in her DNA. And we're not any different. The emotions we feel, love. Like, why do we love somebody? Because our bodies, or I should put it this way, why do we get heartbroken? Because we've tricked our brain to thinking that we depend on this person for survival. So when we don't have them anymore, our bodies don't know what to do. We're thinking, okay, we just lost this person. How are we going to survive? If we've been with this person our whole life, or not our whole life, but for a while, and we depend on them for stuff. It's like you're out in the wild and you lose your compadre. It's a higher chance you're gonna die if you're alone. Like, that's just facts. That's why we feel bad that's why loneliness feels bad, because we're alone, and it's not good for survival, right? Same with sadness. Why do we feel sad? Why do we cry when we come out of when we're just born? Because it's a signal to our mother, to our older people, our older relatives or caregivers, that we need help. That's why we get sad, because it's a signal that we need help. And so what is happiness? Happiness is, I think, how you become happy is you're doing the right, is you're doing things that is productive. Like, when you complete a task, you get happy because you completed that task. That's going to increase your chances of survival. I got a job. I'm happy with my job. I know long term I'm going to be making money. I'm going to put food on the table. I'm going to do this, blah, 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 blah. Right. Anger. Okay. Anger. Why do we get angry? Anger, you get energy, like you get adrenaline. You feel stronger when you're angry. Like you fight. A lot of people, I've never been in a fight, but when I'm angry, I feel like I could really punch something if I really want it. Like that's it helps us win fight. So I understand this, that all my emotions I'm feeling, it's somehow rooted in that I'm an animal and they're necessary. And I understand this, but I am still unable to be happy consistently, which is so wild to me. YouTube, YouTube is just me trying to find that happiness. I want to feel productive. I want to feel like I'm contributing to something, whether I'm making you guys laugh or giving you guys entertainment. I feel like that's what I'm good at. I've always been someone, I make people laugh. I don't want to, so that's what I think I'm good at. But at the same time, like the videos I make, and I just, sometimes the videos I make, I feel like I'm not inconveniencing people, but I'm kind of getting in their way. Like I said, this is just me overthinking. I feel like if I just could stop thinking permanently, well, okay, that sounds bad, but if I could stop thinking so fucking much that I would just be happy. And again, I know that's the case, but I still am unable to do it. And it's so crazy to me. I try a lot of shit. I've tried different things, meditation. The medication has side effects, side effects. If you didn't get it, I'll do it again. Side effects. Medication has side effects. So I've been on medication, off medication. I've smoked weed. I stopped smoking weed. Right now I'm not smoking weed. I drink. I don't drink. Right now I don't drink as much as I did. What I realized is it's really just me. I have to find a way to just stop giving a fuck, but enough of a fuck. That's the thing. You have to give a fuck, but enough. You have to not give a fuck, but enough of a fuck to do what you need to do, right? Like you need to get a job. And depending on who you are, I think you would be happier if you had a more important job rather than just, a minimum wage job working at like a grocery store or McDonald's. And you can't do that. You can't maintain these things if you just don't care. You just don't give a fuck. You don't think. Like you need to think. You need to think to be happy, but it's good if you don't think at the same time. Right? Yeah. And I feel like I second guess myself. No, not just with YouTube, but in everything I do. I second guess myself. Like, is this me? Is this what I need to be doing right now? Is this right? Am I making the world a better place? Am I doing what I need to do? Yeah, life is crazy. I'm just trying to figure it out. And if you guys can relate to what I'm saying, let me know. I'm 23 years old. I'm not as young as I used to be. My parents are old. Mom and Dad, if you're watching this, you are old. So I love you. But yeah. Happiness, it's something you have to constantly work towards. And it does kind of suck because I feel like some people are just naturally more happy than others. Some people are just optimistic, extroverts. I'm an introvert. It does make me wonder, like, why can't I be like that? Why do I have to constantly think about everything, overanalyze everything? But it is a survival instinct. That's what overanalyzing is. Constantly thinking, that's anxiety, right? That's like going back to the emotions of survival. That's a survival instinct. We're all animals. Like I said, and if you're religious, like I'm kind of jealous because I feel like religious people are happy, and I wish I could think like that. I am unable to. Like I can't choose to believe in something. Like I I can't choose to. Like, I either do believe in it or I don't. And it does make me jealous that, you know, people that are religious seem to just be happier because, you know, God will take care of it. You know, that must be nice to just know that everything's going to be all right because someone's looking over you and he loves you and you'll be all right. But no matter what, like, we are animals, and these are emotions that we feel. I'm not going to stop making YouTube videos. I needed a break. My cameraman needed a break. Also, I ran out of ideas, but I got some. It's just tough. If you haven't meditated, I would really recommend meditating, because what it does is, everything I just described, with that feeling of constantly thinking, that can all be mitigated with meditation. Because when you meditate, you're training your brain to not think. You're training your brain to just live in the moment and just focus on your breathing and literally not think. And if you think about it, everything I've been saying, that is what makes me unhappy. And I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to that. And I'm sure if you guys feel anxious or sad, that's probably a big reason. You're thinking too much. So I definitely recommend meditation. It's not gonna be easy. You're gonna be like, what is? You're gonna be mad. You're gonna be sitting there like, this is stupid. You just have to stick with it. That's why the happiest people in the world are monks or people that just sit around meditating all day. Is like, that's why they're the happiest people in the world. I guess scientifically proven. I don't know where that is, but I heard it somewhere. I like to say I read it in a book, but I probably just saw it on TikTok or something. And, you know, I would say my worst fear is failure. I don't put my all into things, because then I can't, you know, it's a channel description of my channel. I don't try my best because then I can't technically fail. But I think I've come to realize that my fear is really success, because if I am successful, I'm gonna have more responsibilities. There's going to be more people watching my content, more people potentially criticizing my content and criticizing me indirectly or directly. Also, what if I am successful and I'm still not happy? That petrifies me. You know, because I've always been living life like, okay, if I obtain this, or I change this, or I get this, then I will be happy. But there's always something else. I'll attain it, and then there's always something next. There's always something next. I always think about what I don't have, and that's some real shit. So I guess in conclusion, I'm trying to find that good middle ground of not thinking, not caring, not giving a shit, but also giving a little bit of a shit. And when I find that middle ground, then I will have made it. Love you guys. Stay tuned for the next video. Love you guys. Bye.